All right, before we get down to business, we'll do a quick recap. I'll show you what I got done here. I got this hillside mostly cleaned up from the big mess of the blow down trees. I'm going to leave these Douglas fir trees up here for now. If you didn't see the previous videos, the other ends of those are very big. We'll get into that later. On the other side of the road, got all this wood laid out to dry. And behind it all, we got the logs yarded out from down there. In the last video we did in this spot, we left a top here to pull out the other way. I pulled it out yesterday. Right next to where that one was over there, we have this other one, a bigger one. I don't know if you can even see anything in this horrible lighting. Here we are behind the root ball. It's big. And the tree that made the root ball is big too. I'm trying to show you how big it is, but in this lighting, I don't know if you can tell what's what. And it's tall, or it used to be tall. Now tall turned into long. And when it came crashing down, it brought that smaller one down with it and landed on top of it. It's big, it has a lot of wood in it, but to make things more complicated, it's jammed up between these three trees. Now to figure out how to get it out of here without scarring those trees up. And all I have to pull with is this F250 that's going to be pulling uphill. This is where that road went that we opened up, or at least featured opening up in the last few videos. As you can see, the road worked and I was able to drive down it. This gives us access to the top end of where those trees fell. I yarded these ones up yesterday. This is the top end of that one we left on the previous video about logging with the Super Duty. Got my block set up here to redirect the pull. It's anchored to a tree back there. This block was in a good position to pull these logs out of here, but to pull this top out, it's going to pull it right into these trees. So we need to move the block over this direction so we get more of a clear line so we can pull it without running into the trees, which is easy to do when you have a chain. Chokers are good, but it's also good to have some chains around because those are better for variable length. With a choker, you're committed to one length. With a chain, you can adjust it to the length you need. Length, not length. I said length. I'm using a 7/16 line. It's basically a long choker. Has a bell on one end, eye on the other, just like a choker. It's 100 feet long. See, now we have a straight shot from the top of the tree to the block. First, we'll take care of all the guts and feathers. In a case like this where a downed tree is jammed between trees, you're probably going to have tension in it. Just know that when you cut things off, there's a good chance that something's going to move, and it might move quickly. This log sprung back this way, but when you're cutting, you don't want to be on this side. We know it's unlikely for this one to come this way because the tree's in the way. So being on this side of it is probably a safe place to be. So we want to make sure we're standing where we're clear of this one so it doesn't spring back and hit you or crush you, or both. This piece may be too heavy to pull on a single line, but we'll give it a try. It's a good test to see how hard we can pull in this spot and what we can get away with. Hopefully it will pull straight through there, avoid this tree. This tree does have a broken out top, so if it gets scarred up, it's not a big loss, but we try to avoid it. It did what I was concerned it was going to do. Instead of riding up over the top of the log, it fell down and got hung up on it. Now, the way you keep from destroying your vehicle doing stuff like this, if something gets hung up and it doesn't pull, back off and go fix the problem. And go away, fly. What a lot of guys would do is they would back up, get a running start, and jerk on it. Or they would hit the throttle and start digging holes with their tires. These vehicles were not made for doing this kind of thing. If you do that kind of stuff, you're going to ruin your vehicle. Maybe not ruin it, but you're going to have costly repairs to deal with. Just pull with the force that the vehicle was designed to pull with. If it doesn't pull with that, go back and change something. And if you're doing this like I am, this is the vehicle I got here with. If I break it, I don't have a way home. If you're going to use a vehicle for this, be smart about it. I could do some fancy rigging and get it to pull over this log, but this log is going to be on the way for other pieces too, so we'll just cut it off and make a permanent solution here. No, I didn't get my saw stuck. I'm just pounding these wedges in here because I feel like pounding wedges. Nope, didn't happen. Nothing to see here. Take a look at this. This is that log that we just cut out of the way. Here's the stump of it. Obviously it's been down a few years, but take a look at the wood. The outer ring of sapwood has some decay in it, but the inside is still solid. There's no cracks in it. I think it's all perfectly good. This is why I decided to leave those really big Doug fir trees we started on. I'm leaving them there for now, so next year if I decide I want to mill them up and come up with a solution for that, they'll still be good just like this one. Maybe even better because they're only a year old. I could even salvage this old one and still get a lot of good lumber out of it. For now I'm going to hold off on the big Doug fir logs and get the grand fir salvaged because it just doesn't keep as well. It deteriorates a lot faster than the Doug fir. There's a chance the log might push into this tree on its way out. So we'll put this breakaway block here to pull it over this way. Sometimes it breaks away the way it's supposed to, sometimes it doesn't. Now this block was lined up for pulling out the top piece, but the next piece is over here. We need to move the block over here, so we got a direct line right here. That one pulled easily, so now we know we can make the next one heavier. My line is not long enough to reach. That's only half the problem. The last log is going to be much heavier than the other ones. At the butt end, it's getting big enough to challenge my 32-inch bar. On a log this size, I want to put a block here so I can double line it and double my pull. But I don't even have enough line to reach it for a single pull. It's the only line I brought here. To get this one out, we're going to have to bring out the real ninja logger techniques. That's all for today. We're going to have to finish this one on the next one or an upcoming video. Yeah, but that's all, folks.